You're talking about dropped calls, people going to different wrong locations, delayed calls, and that's one agency, one organization. Now, I don't know what is supposed to make it easy for merging 3 separate and distinct municipalities, 8 separate fire departments, 3 separate police departments. All those people, and all the sub-departments, whether it be after hours sewer, water call out, you name it, that's all gonna have to be part of that. I don't know how well that's all gonna be, because everybody has stakeholders in all those departments. And being it that all those departments are volunteer departments, people change, officer structures change, etc. I don't know, and I reside in this town, and I guess it's a question I have of the board. Has all of public safety, every entity we have, the 2 fire departments and the police department, gone on record saying they support this? Can that question be answered? Yeah, I don't know that it has been. And I think a lot of people would like to have that answered. Everybody, every agency there, every stakeholder, every end user is going to have a different way of doing things. It's nice to be able to say you can flip a switch and we're gonna all get together in this room and come out with, he's got a better mousetrap. I guarantee you that's not going to happen. I know the fire service well. There's no way that's gonna happen. They're reasonable men, but you're dealing with separate agencies, separate structure of how they do things. Other notes I had, the center is supposed to be in Waterford, and if that's the be-all end-all place, wonderful, but I don't know if they looked at other places. I'm sure maybe they entertain that. That's fine, but I love the boogeyman screen they put up that said, pick your partner before we pick it for you. Well, that may scare people, but I don't know. I had the opportunity and the great opportunity to be at the State Police Academy in Meriden when they rolled out the Kimball study. And there were many police chiefs, fire chiefs, and a few chiefs executives there. And they heard this consolidation. They were all salivating, wringing their hands, thinking, wow, I could save a lot of money. But in the end, when the Kimball study people were talked to and questioned by the public safety community, fire and police, they picked that study apart just as quick as you could imagine. And what happened was they found out one thing. It wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And what happened, right now, you don't hear the state of Connecticut beating their chest saying, this Kimball study has worked great, and this regionalization thing is working real well. Because it's not. It is not. At the end of that day, Bill Ewell from DSET had to call off the dogs because it was getting nasty in the room. The town of East Lyme here has grown by leaps and bounds. And 171 Boston Post Road has been a great asset for this town. Okay? It has done its job. And I look at the town and how it's grown, and at a time that 171 Boston Post Road should have been growing, it didn't. It stayed on the most postage stamp budget it was and got along with just what they were giving them. And I'll give you the fact, nobody was asking for a lot. But one thing, I look at the Gateway project coming, I look at a lot of enhancement in this town, stands to reason one thing. Your need for services go up as your town grows. There's no doubt about that. Mr. Formica was shaking hands with the governor about this being a destination spot here in the town of East Lyme. And it is. We're lucky to live here. But you know what? You got to service that spot. Every visitor that comes into this town has to be serviced. I don't know. Up there at 171 Boston Post Road, you've got interoperability, total interoperability. You know, the paramedics, they're dispatched out of Waterford. A frequency and a set of tones that can be dispatched anywhere. You know, you're on, you've got a state-of-the-art CAD that's not nearly used as much as it could be. You know, I always heard the point that if you're gonna be in the public safety game, you have to be proactive, not reactive. The worst thing you can do is sit around praying that something big doesn't happen. And then, the second worst thing is to have it happen and point fingers as to why we weren't ready. That's the second biggest thing. But, you know, I look at this, we don't know whether all of public safety in town is for this or against it. And it would stand the reason that, did you look, do we have an asset or is that a liability up there? You know, I don't know. Financial, I mean, there's some chief executives of towns that are looking for a bailout to save money on a budget. There's no stretch of the imagination about that, people know. Bottom line is here you have something that runs and runs well. And it, you know, the training has been enhanced. You've got good full-time dispatchers, long-term dispatchers up there. The training's been enhanced. These people are doing ride-alongs with the police to know their town. I'll go to a scenario that happened last Friday night. And I know that for a fact because I was working at 171 Boston Post Road with full-time Eric Quinn. We had a call for a domestic situation, physical violence in this town at one of the local motels. Doing what we were supposed to do, we transferred that call to what they call the DEC Center. DEC Center being Troop D, E, C, and K up in Talent. We transferred it up there. We dispatched it right away. Quinn told the cars where to go. They went there. One of our cars called the troop and said, "Hey, did you get the call? We're at a domestic." "No, we haven't got it yet." He was on scene about 7 minutes already. If that's effective and that's the way you want to run public safety, do it. This thing has to be thought about. And I gotta tell you, I once read that if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to have what you've always had. If you want different, you have to do different. It's time we start to think about public safety in a different light. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else like to speak to the board under public comment? Hearing none, any selectmen like to have any response?
What's that?
I thank my able assistant down the end for another great job. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion is made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.